Hi, my name is Beata Lipska and I'm developer advocate at Trilitech. And today, in this video, you're gonna learn about the adaptive issuance. And from a technical point of view, how to prepare the bakery to accept external stakers, because we have prepared a brand new user experience for staking on Tezos ecosystem. So let's jump straight in. New staking operations are introduced to provide stakers the tools to manage their stakes. Additionally, they allow delegates to configure their staking policies. So now let's look at the chart here. So first of all, we need to bear in mind that a staker can have the ability to stake a portion of their Tez in addition to delegating them. So every single delegator can become a staker. In this significant change, we introduced also the delegates' baking rights and rewards. So if we look at the chart here, how the staking operations change the state of Tez involved into staking process. So first of all, at the top, we have the spendable funds, and obviously they are liquid. Next thing, the staked Tez are frozen and they accounted for staking rights computation, and we need to bear in mind that they are slashable. The very last state is unstaked frozen, and they are still frozen because yes, they are not accounted for staking rights computation, but they are still slashable. So after those 5 cycles, we can move into the moment that we can finalize the unstake. So what is the difference? Unstaked finalizable are not frozen, but they do also require an action to be spendable again. So today we're going to use the Tezos. It's the local sandbox environment for you to use and learn how to play around new staking mechanism with adaptive issuance on. So why we are using Tezos instead of, for example, the testnets like Ghostnet? Because the cycles time. It takes literally minutes, not days, to go through the cycles. So it's going to be super quick, but bear in mind that my little coffee break will be, for example, a 12 days vacation for you. So bear in mind that on mainnet, one cycle could be up to 3 days. All right, so now let's crack on and get our terminals on, and let's run a local sandbox. Okay, so I have prepared a cheat sheet that will be very helpful for you to follow along this tutorial, and you can find it in the link down below, of course. So just to heads up, there are 2 parts, and we're going to use just the very first one, which is local sandbox. I also explain how to set up everything on the testnets, but we don't want to go through this part here in this tutorial. We're going to use the Tezos. Okay, so first things first, let's start our Docker container. But before we're going to do it, let's make sure that your Docker is up and running. So it's starting now. Brilliant. So as you can see, we have a Docker container called my sandbox, and we can double check that it's up and running properly by writing docker ps. And here it is. Brilliant. It's on. To make things easier, let's get an alias called a tcli, because we don't really want to type docker exec my sandbox etc. all the time. So let's just paste it there. Brilliant. So first of all, our Tezos sandbox contains few things. Local baker, as well as Bob and Alice's account, but we're gonna have a look later, especially Alice, because she will need to fund a new user called Staker, some funds. But let's just wait a bit. I'll show you what, where, and why first. Okay, so let's get our Baker address first. Let's call it Baker0. Yeah, so this one is pretty important, and it would be good to make a note of this. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna literally copy this file and use my favorite text editor, which is Bear, because it allows you to use the markdown files. I'm gonna paste it there, and let's go all the way up again. So instead of using this hash, I'm gonna use that one and paste it there. All right, brilliant. So now this Baker should have a adaptive issuance. So let's see which cycle it's gonna be on. So it's 5th cycle, but it's local sandbox, and the cycles really go quickly, very quickly. So let's have a look. What sort of current cycle do we have now? Okay, so it's 5th. Brilliant. So let's actually have a look on expected adaptive issuance for next few cycles. So cycle 6, cycle 7, etc. And yeah, so fixed portion and reward bonus. Okay, those figures will change in few minutes, but let's go through the whole process before we do anything with that. All right, so now we need to set up our Baker to accept third-party stakers. So as you can see in here, we do have a variable that it would be good to change. So we need to provide a hash here, a hash here, and yeah, I think over here as well, it would be useful. All right, so first of all, let's check the current parameters for our setup. So as you can see, the limit of staking over baking is set to 0, and edge of baking over staking is also 1. So it would be good to update those parameters. So let's use this command. To make sure that it will be updated. And that update will take 3 cycles. And as you can see, we can use a command that will show pending staking parameters. So in cycle 12, we'll have those parameters on. So let's check again which cycle do we have now. So it's 10th. Okay, so let's give it a minute or two. Of course, if you are using any testnet or mainnet, of course, one cycle is about 3 days. So bear in mind that, yeah, it may take a little while. But in my case, it's literally few moments. Okay, so now it's 12th cycle. So if we're gonna use the pending staking parameters again, we'll see what's there. It's nothing. It's an empty array. So there are no pending parameters. And if we go all the way back to our active staking parameters, we can see that it's exactly as expected. Brilliant. So now it's the time that we can play around the actual staking mechanism. So let's create a staker. So staker is the user that will need some funds. And as I mentioned before, Alice, she's very helpful because it's a built-in account in FlexTasa, and she's got quite a lot of Tez. Sharing is caring, so let's share that with Staker. So let's transfer 1,000,001 Tez. Okay, so let's check the balance for Staker. All right, the funds were sent. So now we need to set up a Baker 0 to be a delegate for the Staker. Okay. Of course, that sort of action won't change the balance for Staker. Nothing happened with the funds. Yes, it's a little bit lower because what we needed to do, we needed to pay a gas fee. So it's not 1 at the end, but it's almost 1,000,001 Tez. All right. So now what we can do, we can stake this 1,000,000 Tez. So let's just do it. Okay. So as you can see, we paid fee for the baker. We started staking. So let's have a look what happened on the Staker balance. Yeah. So the 1,000,000 is gone. It's not gone technically, but it has been frozen to be staked. So let's give it a little bit of time, and we're gonna go back to our staking in a few minutes, maybe more than a few minutes. So you will be able to see all the changes that actually happened after staking 1,000,000 Tez. But we can also observe a shift in total issuance. So let's copy this and paste it there. So the numbers changed significantly. Yeah. Okay, so I think enough time has passed, and now we can play around the unstake. All right, so first of all, we need to unstake everything for Staker. Yeah. And of course, it will take a little while before we can finalize the unstaking, because it's a two-step action. Yeah. So let's see what sort of cycle we have now currently. So it's the 59th cycle. All right. So now we need to wait extra few cycles to make sure that we can finalize the unstake, because as you can see, the spendable balance for the Staker did not change after initializing unstaking for the Staker. So before we're gonna get the finalized unstake action for the Staker, we need to wait 5 more cycles, which would be a good couple of days on the mainnet and other testnets. But here you can see we can actually check the current cycle again, and it's 61st. So let's give it a few more moments to have a look how the finalized unstake action will affect the spendable amount of the Staker balance. Okay, so as you can see, it's 64th, and now we can do the finalize unstake action. Okay, let's read the output of this action. So, yeah, it's going to be included very soon, and that will affect our balance for the staker. So let's give it a moment or two, and we'll be able to see our 1 million more plus the rewards. And as you can see, we have 12 extra Tez. Yeah, the rest we actually spent on transactions on the way, but this is the rewards for the staker. And that's it. It's pretty easy, pretty straightforward, but as you can see, anyone can stake now. And if the baker is accepting third-party stakers and the parameters are right, we can get some good amount of Tez from staking. So that's it for that video. I hope you liked it. And if you have any questions regarding staking or in general what adaptive issuance is, feel free to drop your question in the comments down below. All the links are in the description, and yeah, happy baking.